Today, PopCap's surveys are almost as compelling as their games. This is CheckPoint.
Welcome to CheckPoint, where we've noticed that very little of interest came out of CES this year.
Very little of interest comes out of CES every year.
Business as usual, then. The Guinness Book of World Records Gamers Edition has awarded Star Wars: The Old Republic the world record for the most voiced acting in recognition of the game's more than 200,000 lines of quest dialogue. It's odd to say this about a book originally founded to settle Irish pub arguments between toothless old men, but I think Guinness's gaming arm might be less relevant to daily life than the original book. In other news, we're going to break that record by recording all new lines for the fantastic adventures of Professor Pigglesworth, because no one said the lines of dialogue had to be good.
Yet another consumer electronics show has come and gone, and the big IT gadgets this year were iPad controller attachments. Razer even debuted Project Fiona, which looks like an iPad with handles, that they tout as the first tablet designed specifically for PC gamers and PC games. This is completely wrong-headed. It's like building the first car designed especially for farmers with a thresher attachment on the front. If I want to harvest wheat, I'll use a combine harvester. If I want to play PC games, I'll use a PC. Stop trying to make tablets into something they're not. Steve Jobs would be spinning in his grave if he wasn't equipped with a complex series of gyroscopes to prevent that.
New CheckPoint Whipping Boy, the PlayStation Vita, has sold 500,000 units since it was released in Japan on December 17th. That would be boring, except that in the same time period, the PS2, the must-have Christmas gift of the year 2000, sold the same amount. So with years of R&D, 2 gimmicky touch surfaces, a AAA launch lineup, and millions of dollars in marketing, Sony has managed to create a console that sells just as well as a hopelessly out-of-date system that's 12 years old. If you listen carefully, you can actually hear Sony executives weeping softly.
With the word yup, Blizzard unceremoniously announced on its Twitter account that they are indeed working on a console version of Diablo 3. We are curious to see what changes are made for the console version and how the new Diablo real money auction house will be integrated, but we're especially curious to see how they can possibly recreate the Diablo experience without a constant soundtrack of mouse clicks as the white background noise to your demon slaying. Yeah.
Interplay's Fallout MMO is now officially dead, or it would be if the company had ever started working on it. Bethesda has finally won back the license from Interplay after more than 2 years of increasingly ridiculous litigation to prove Interplay really had breached the terms of the deal the two companies signed in 2007. Under the contract, Interplay was supposed to have a Fallout MMO out in 4 years, so presumably a judge finally looked at the calendar, realized it was in fact now 2012, and told everybody to shut the hell up about the whole mess.
PopCap's first love may be making games, but its second is clearly running surveys about itself. In its latest, the company gathered information on players who cheat in social games. Paul has the numbers. Paul?
Thanks, Graham. I suppose the thesis of PopCap's whole survey is that cheaters cheat. Of the over 1,200 surveyed, 8% admitted to cheating in social games. Of those confirmed cheaters, a startling 53% admitted to cheating in other areas, like on tests at school. 51% stole things from hotel rooms, and even 49% of the cheaters admitted to infidelity. Half of the social game cheats have used handicapped parking spaces they're not eligible for, and 47% said they steal packets of sugar and jam from restaurants, meaning more people admitted to having an affair than stealing jam. 43% take magazines from waiting rooms. Why? Have you been to a waiting room? Not only are those magazines at least 6 months out of date, but they've been touched by everyone in town with post-nasal drip. All the cheaters skewed much younger than non-cheaters, which we figure just means that older people haven't worked out how to Google Castleville money exploit yet. But the real takeaway from all this is that people who play social games are apparently more likely to give up highly personal information to people who say they're doing a survey. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Thank you, Paul.
Wow, did people really steal magazines from the doctor's office?
I'm more concerned with all the jam. What are they doing with that much jam?
Maybe they're rubbing it on the magazines and then carefully sneaking them back in so they're stickier the next time you pick them up.
Ugh.
Coming up, Kaz Hirai said there will be no PS4 at E3, but he didn't rule out a PS3S. Ooh.